road trip. Woohoo! Hi there. Welcome to episode 4 of Yarns and Yarns. As you can see, it's a little different this time. I had to pick up a day job. That's why I have been kind of AWOL for a while. The house that we got when we moved to Colorado is just a little bit bigger than we had anticipated getting. At the time though, moving from Florida to Colorado, it was hard to find a house at all. Every time I'd see a house and my husband would come home from work, I would go to show him and the house was already gone. I mean they were going that fast. So we finally just had to pick one and buy it without even visiting it. But we're not paying down the principal, and we'd really like to get out of the mortgage before my husband retires from work. So I'm picking up a day job to kind of help out a bit with that. And we'll probably move into a smaller house in the meantime, now that we're here and we can kind of figure out where exactly we truly want to be for the rest of our lives. I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing, sort of. It's not exactly what I wanted to do, especially since I'd like to really be writing. Working in a call center, helping people navigate their healthcare, and that's not bad. It's similar to what I used to do before the boys were born. I worked at Verizon on their help desk, but I was fixing computers. But I do recognize I'm a lot better dealing with people on the phone, with their issues and troubles and things like that. It used to be when I worked at Verizon, sometimes I get somebody who was just really angry on the phone, and I finally got them off the phone, I'd have to stop and cry. And this time it's like, well, they're not mad at me. It's not a personal issue. When I did stop working for Verizon, I did quality assurance at the time. They promoted me to do that, and that's what I'd like to do here eventually, is to just listen to the calls from the other agents. And that's what I enjoy doing, really. It's like being a teacher without the grading. Speaking of that, when I think of how hard it was as a teacher, because I taught high school English twice, and I burned out both times. And that was the hardest work I had ever had to do in my life. So yeah, this is a cakewalk. The reason I am driving and recording is because the boys are at my sister-in-law's farm, and it is Sunday morning. And my sister-in-law is Catholic, and we're not. So I'm driving up there to bring them to one of our churches. It's a 1.5 hour drive both ways, so it's 3 hours on the road. And this is the only time I'm gonna have by myself so I can record for this show. So we'll see how it goes, and trying to keep my eyes as much on the road as absolutely possible. So sorry if I'm not looking at you. So because I'm driving, I'm obviously not working off a script this time, so hopefully I won't ramble as much as I did like in that first episode. I am drinking my coffee with my Hogwarts travel mug this time. What I've been reading lately has been interesting, to say the least. There's another Shay Ford author out there. She's out of Texas, and she actually started publishing just around the same time I did. She just spells hers a little differently. She spells it S-H-A-E instead of E-A, and she writes fantasy. And just for sheer curiosity, I went ahead and bought one of her books, the first one in her series, Harbinger. It's not bad. I think she's self-published. It's a solid story. The only problem I have with it is that it could have been edited better. There's some issues, minor plot problems, and some grammar issues, things where names are accidentally changed. Like there's one It's Copper Docks is the name of a place that the characters go to, and at one point it changes to Copper Rocks, and or Copper Rock, and so just minor issues like that. But the most common problem I'm finding is just floating pronouns, where she uses a pronoun and there's no reference, and so I have to stop and think about who she's talking about when she uses these pronouns. But I mean, it's not enough to make me not like the story. It's still a really good story. It's it could be polished a little better, but I highly recommend it. If that doesn't bother you, go ahead and go for it. It's a good story about it's high fantasy, with dragons and magic and things like that. It's a good story, so I recommend that one. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only about 70% through recording on my Kindle. As far as my writing goes, I'm back to trying to finish up, since I've got more of it written, the story, the Prohibition story about my grandmother's childhood. I kind of know how I wanted to end it, but I didn't know quite how to get there. While the boys have been at the farm, my husband and I went out to lunch one day, so we got a gift card for Christmas. He's not really a fiction reader. Like, he's actually never read any of my stories. But he does like history, and this is more just straight historical fiction. So instead of like the Stone of Kings, which has an element of fantasy and time travel. So I got him to read one of my chapters. It was really fabulous that he did that for me, because I was able to bounce ideas off of him on how to get the rest of the story done. So I'm really excited to get that written. I was able to write about 1,000 words on New Year's Day, because I had the day off. And I was hoping to do some more writing yesterday. I realized that the boys were out of egg muffins for their school lunches, and they're coming back to school this Wednesday. So I needed to make sure that I had plenty of easy lunches to pack for them, because I don't want them eating school lunches with all the loaded sugar and carbs in it. When I make them egg muffins, 6-hour project, I get 10 dozen eggs and I make 10 dozen muffins out of it. But they're good for about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4, if I can stretch it, if I can keep my husband out of the egg muffins, if I can give him something else to eat. But yeah, so didn't get any writing done yesterday. But I'll try to figure out if I can get some writing done maybe this afternoon, because all the egg muffins are done. I like to get that book written. So as far as yarns, like fibers go, obviously there's not a whole lot I've been able to get done. I did finish my nephew's hat and my niece's scarf, and they totally loved it. I couldn't quite manage mittens for him, so I decided to just make another scarf to go with the hat, but I didn't get done, and I'm still not done. I'm not even halfway done. I'm trying to get it done, but I'm so tired when I get home from work. He loves the hat. Back when I worked for Verizon, I used to be able to do knitting and crochet while I was working. Between calls I could sit and crochet, but they won't let me here. And I can't write either. They won't, because it's healthcare, they don't allow any paper at your desk. I could do it, at lunch, but I only have 30 minutes for lunch, so that's not a whole lot of time. So all my writing and knitting, I just gotta wait until I get home. Most of the time, like right now, the calls are pretty busy, so it doesn't, I'm not bored, but when it is slow, like it was slow Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so I brought my Rubik's Cubes, and I do that. I'm allowed to play with my Rubik's Cubes while I'm waiting for a call to come in. The one thing at work everybody is excited about is the snowball. I guess it's like an office party, but and it's different themed every year, but this year it's a formal, so they call it the snowball, which is kind of cute. And that's this Saturday. Being an introvert, I'm not really into parties and things, but at the same time, I need to do something different. I need to kind of push myself. And, as a writer, I just need experiences. So maybe something fun will happen there. The fun part for me at the moment is that I fit into some of my old scarf dresses from college. Now that I've lost, by the way, I am now down 50 pounds. Trying not to lose too much more. I didn't mean to lose another 8 pounds. My husband had put the bathroom scale up on a shelf, and I didn't weigh myself for a while, and out of curiosity the other day I took it down and I'm like, oh, I lost another 8 pounds. Adding berries and some extra vegetable carbs into my diet just to make sure I don't get down too low, because I don't want to do that. But it's nice to be able to fit into some of my old clothes from college, and I'm surprised I kept them, because I didn't fit in them when we left Florida. I thought I would have gotten rid of them, but I didn't, and that's nice because now I don't have to buy another dress. The other thing that has happened since I started my new job, I have learned not to drink the office coffee. The first Friday, the end of the very first week there, one of the other training classes apparently had a bunch of donuts, and anybody in the office can make coffee, and I didn't even think about it. Somebody ate a donut, made coffee, and it cross-contaminated, and I drank it. So it's been about 3 years since I've had an accidental glutening. The nice thing is that keto has made it a lot easier to handle. It's not nearly as intense as it used to be. It used to be that I would be curled up in a ball most of the day wishing for death. We always called it the zombie porcupine, and I don't remember if I've said that on any other episode yet, but that's what it was. And it still hurts, especially in the evenings, but it's a lot more manageable. It's been about three weeks since my last glutening. It still hurts in the evenings, but you know, it's really not that bad. Not compared to what it used to be. Another keto bonus. Before Christmas, I was tagged to do Holiday Traditions by Lee, and I felt so bad. I didn't have time. A lot of her traditions are similar to mine, especially with the food thing. Like, that's her, she said in her video that that's the one time of year where she can have a beer. I'm kind of the same way. I have food issues, so that's my one time of the year to find and go out of my way to find a safe way for me to eat, you know, pumpkin pie or eggnog. I'm sorry, Lee, I wanted to do that. But I think what I'll do is I'll just save it for next year and do a 2019 Christmas tag along. I'm at my sister-in-law's farm, and they're not quite back from Mass yet, so I'm sitting in the car waiting, and I'm knitting, so I can at least show you. This is my nephew's scarf that goes with his hat. And basically what I'm doing is I took, you know, the hat is knitted in the round, so I just started the hat again without the brim, and I'm knitting the scarf in the round. And obviously this is not a very long scarf yet, not even close, but I'm going to put some black fringe on the bottom to tie it together so that it's a flat scarf and not a round scarf. But it's going to be double thick, so it'll be nice and warm for him on those cold winter days. Hopefully I can get it done before the end of winter so he can enjoy it. I'm on my way home. I love when the boys stay at the farm because their behavior suddenly gets better. They're away from their video game playing friends, so they're running around with their cousins, doing chores, playing with puppies, and using their imaginations. When I took them to church services this morning, they were the quietest children in the building. It was a very, 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 very small church because all the kids sat in one area, and I kept looking back to see which ones were the ones that were talking because I was certain that it was mine, but they weren't. They were just coloring and reading and just being good. Like, these are my children. Wow. Okay, I will go with that. So I had a great visit with my sister-in-law and her family, and she's going to be bringing the boys back for school on Wednesday, and we'll slide into a new normal. But until I can find some extra time to do another episode, I'm going to have to say thanks for watching, and hopefully episode will be from my computer in craft room and not the car, but we'll see how much time I manage to scrounge up later on. So thank you for watching. If you want to find me, all my links are below. And happy reading, happy crafting. Bye.